Hello everyone. Can you hear and see me okay? So welcome to Tarot Tuesday. Sorry it took me a little while. Just had some internet issues and late getting started, but we're here. We're doing it. So I have a feeling that this card here is the first archetype of the day. And just before I go into some interesting details with you about it, just invite you to tap into the moment. Just be here now. Hi Kimberly, hi Queen, hi Vida. I'm just gonna pop this out. Alright. So, slightly different setup. Today I realized that about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't remember how long ago, but 2 years ago, on Twitch, I did a fundraiser that was going to help me to build this cozy cabin. And here we are, a few years later, in this cozy cabin. It's pretty awesome. Alright, so let's see what we have for the first card. Alright, thank you. This card really gives me some of the best feelings in the world, actually, because it reminds me of the word sanctuary. So we have 4, which is reminding me of our foundations. If our foundations are strong, everything else will be. If we are able to understand that everything we want to receive is meant for us. Everything we want will be given to us in some way or another. And the thing that really stood out to me, I was watching a live stream this morning, is that it's not coming to me, so maybe it's going to be for later, but it's in there. It's this idea of opening ourselves to receive the abundance that we are meant for. So fire energy, the wands, they teach us about creative energy. Teaches us about how we are using our life force energy to create things around us, to move through experiences, to move through different challenges and different circumstances. And so this could represent, you know, like a newly wed couple, for example, or a new opportunity that has arisen for you or someone else around you, and they're very much celebrating what it's like to be part of this sanctuary. You can see a castle in the background. You can see that the wands hold up the fruits of their labor, and they're just very happy looking. So I really like this idea of this sanctuary, because to me, when I think about it, it takes me there. And it opens up the gateway of abundance for me, because even if in the physical things are, you know, we can always find things to want more of, right? But anyway, what we can also do is put ourselves in the moment where we are actually tapping into good feelings, and those good feelings are of the abundance of the things that we want, the goals, the dreams that we have. You know, just simple goals, they can keep you going. So one of my goals right now is that I want to buy a purple bed. They're quite expensive. We went into the store the other day and we checked it out, and you know, I just thought to myself, better sleep, better streams, better sleep, better ideas. You know, sleep is so important. And just that simple goal, really feeling into how I can bring that goal into life, just something simple like buying a bed, really just kind of gives you the comforts that you're looking for, right? Gives you the motivation to want to do something to make your life that bit better. And it doesn't always come with the material stuff. Fire is very much also an inward energy. You know, peace, joy, love, those can also be things that you want to manifest. So, hi Floor. What else? Yeah, what else do I want to say about this card? Finding ways to make your dreams come alive. How about we talk about that? Because when we have a goal, when we have a dream, we can do so much more than when we are retracted or constricted and thinking about lack or thinking about the things that we don't have. And the reason is because when you're contracted, you're kind of going against the very principle of what's true about life, which is that there's so much abundance here in joy, in material, in nature, in money, in relationships, all of those things. But we do, you know, have some things that have gotten in the way that have taught us how to think differently than that. Just your basic programming from society. Not necessarily always because that's what they're trying to do, although that's a conversation for another time. But also because we're still growing, we're still learning, we're still evolving as a race. And we have to know what's best for us and not necessarily what abundance looks like in the matrix, in the world. So, just something to think about for now, right? What else? I really want to bring through this quote, and it's not coming through, and I think it's because I haven't fully grasped it yet. It's, there's no restrictions, here it is, there's no restrictions to what you are meant to receive. There's no restrictions. You're meant to receive what you're meant to receive because it's part of your essence. It's kind of like you and your destiny are one. And so whatever you're creating, whatever this sanctuary represents to you, hello to you in Spain, hello to you in India. Hi Armati. Thank you. Yeah, it's very, very hot today. It's 30 here in Canada, and I've just had some pasta, so excuse me. Very hot in here, so I have my fan running. It's probably a little bit loud, but that's okay. I need a bit of cooling down today. But yeah, this in here is part of a dream I had a couple years ago. We had a couple years ago. And here it is. As I said to you, I was actually streaming almost 3 years ago now, trying to build this place. I was doing a fundraiser for it, and I don't know if I ever got, I think I stopped streaming before I got what I was aiming for, but we ended up being able to do it anyways. And it's because I talked about it quite a bit, and I dreamt about it. Like, I would think about how, you know, a cozy little cabin would just be awesome to be living in, and would be awesome to spend time in. And well, I don't really live in it, but I certainly hang out in it. And you know, here it is. Eddie built it with his own hands. He didn't have any help apart from me occasionally, but really not at all. I just decorated the inside. So I think this is a really befitting card, because getting into this vibration, you know, where they're just happy, they're, you know, the other thing that I'm also saying about this concept is that we're not always looking to the future. We're not always saying, okay, this is my goal, this is what I want to reach. You already know what your goals are usually, and spending too much time in a space of this could be amazing and this could be amazing, but not necessarily feeling the joy of what's here and now, can, you know, take you out of it a little bit. So what we want to do is feel these good feelings now. Know that we are worthy right here, right now, of receiving everything that we need, and we already have everything that we've asked for here and now. If that makes sense to you, like what I'm saying is that there's nothing you have to necessarily do in order to achieve this, other than just knowing that you're meant to, there's no restriction to your receiving of what you're trying to reach. And then from there, you're in more of a smooth energy. From there, you're not trying to grasp or reach for things all the time to make you feel worthy. You're not trying to reach for popularity, relationships, money that will fulfill you. You realize that whatever is meant for you, whatever your destiny is already kind of here and now. When you tap into it, when you realize that it's yours already, there's not necessarily anything you have to do, but be that energy of what you foresee you'll feel when you have it all. But don't wait to be that energy. Don't wait until you have all the things together to feel that beingness. Be that beingness. If that makes sense, here and now, right? Be it. And then it's easier flowing to you. You're going to flow to it without so many distractions pulling you up, stopping you, emotions getting in the way. It's a very transformative card. You know, using this fire energy, stepping into the fire, allowing that to take away any of the doubts in yourself and your worth. Yeah. So I think that's actually a really good energy to bask in here and now, because the more we bask in that allowance energy, the more, the easier it gets. For me, I notice less thoughts. I notice less emotions when I'm just in that zone of everything that is meant for me will happen and is already here. Do you see the difference a little bit compared to you got to get something, you got to reach something? It feels outside, it's now outside of you. Feels far away. But when there's no restrictions to what you receive, no restrictions from your mind, no restrictions from your emotions, no restrictions from anything outside of you, no restrictions from your inner world, you know, that's where peace comes in. Much more peaceful, But you know, here's something else. How often are we used to being in that peaceful state? Because we can actually be in a peaceful state and not necessarily enjoy it because we're so used to go, go, go. And we're so used to endorphins and just rushes of energy, and that can become an addiction in itself. We should not necessarily reach for the good feelings all the time, but maybe become, I guess, more content with things like peace, because peace doesn't always look like anything other than just breathing. Hello, Angela. Hello, Patrick. That I was many people and many races in a mirror. Interesting. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. I have had an experience like that. Yeah. I think it's great you pulled up on that, because it kind of points toward, and this is a can of worms, so I'm going to probably take my time with this. Exactly, Patrick. Yeah, be and allow the now. So, the way that this lady explained it this morning as part of this Heart Awakening course I'm taking, it was really good. She's called The Awakened State, and she was talking about how we can walk hand in hand with duality, so with the feelings of fear at the same time as the feelings of plenty. You know, whatever's there, we don't really want to always be in the more negative feelings, but sometimes it's there, right? There's not much you can do about it. You can try and transform it, and it may work. Other times it may not. And the other side of it is pointing toward this idea that we are all this same consciousness connected. And so when we tap into that, we realize that there's no competition between us all anymore. There is in duality, and that's okay to behold in duality as you walk through life. That's okay, that's part of it. But the other part of it is that you don't get stuck in the two-sided paradox of everything, because it's always going to be there, and it's part of the physical world. But the part where we bridge, you know, our lower being, let's say, with our upper being, our physical with our spiritual, is where we come into a knowing of our unified self. If you see your neighbor, or you see someone else getting something or having something that you would like, instead of looking at them and seeing that as a reason to feel bad about yourself, you know, instead of feeling jealous or envious, you can actually feel something completely opposite. You can feel overjoyed that another human has achieved what you want to achieve. And easier said than done, but the more we practice getting in that kind of zone where it's like we can tap into, you know, if you have a hard time with doing that directly with humans, I get it. You know, animals are easier and children are easier, but I'm gonna maybe say that with the fire energy, what we can connect with, because it's directly connected with spirit. So what we can connect with is the quantum, the unity of consciousness that already is. And that, again, is where we manifest from. That's where we find our abundance. And it will just happen naturally when we're tapping into that acceptance state. When we're tapping into that love space. We're tapping into that allowance space, acceptance space. That is where we can have everything we want. it just might not all happen all in one go, because it's a journey. It's more about the journey than it is about the destination. The destination pulls you forward. For me, the destination is beyond, like, I don't feel limits. I feel limits when I try to plan everything out, when I try to say, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this to get there, there, and there, which can bridge the gap and be helpful. But I prefer just bringing in the feeling of what I know the sanctuary will look like, what I know it will feel like, what I know it will smell like. And really bring it to life, as I was saying before. Write about it, draw about it, create with it, talk about it, because you're in the vibration of this, of your goals, of your dreams, of your sanctuary. You're in that vibration when you're doing these things. So she was talking about how, first of all, what you want to do is be, and then you take action. You be first, and then you take action. You don't do first and then be. So I hope that makes sense for you. Let me know if you have any questions about this card. I'm probably going to pull up the Herb Crafters so you can get the nature medicine to go with it. You don't have to be afraid of other people, because we are all the same material. Fear arises in the illusion of separation. Krishnamurti. Yes. Yeah, that's a really interesting, that's going deep. Restructuring some things in my cellular DNA, that one. Hello, Andy. Yeah, I'm pretty good, thank you. How are you doing? It's very hot today. Yeah. I'm enjoying the summer though, whilst it's here. All right, so let's take a look. Just feel like tapping on this box. I was doing some, I was painting some rocks yesterday with our niece, and she was mixing some paint, and it gave me these ASMR relaxation vibes. Sometimes it's nice to tap into that really still space. Just hearing the sounds around you. So we have 4 of Wands. What is 4 of Wands in here? Let's take a look. Mother of Water, Temperance, the Star. 2 of Water, 5 of Earth, 6 of Fire. Mother of Air, 10 of Air. The World, Hydra of Air, Grandira of Water, 6, 10, 3. 10, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah, we went for a walk to technically steal some rocks, but I guess it's not really stealing. Just to a forest actually, but we didn't make it all the way through the forest because it was a especially overgrown, and lots of mosquitoes. I don't mind too much, but I know other people really do. So we picked up some rocks in a farmer's field and brought them back, and here we are for a fire. Ooh, for a fire. So this is an elder card. I've never had an elder card. So let's check it out, see what it is. Elderberry maybe? Yeah, it's probably elderberry. So this is to go with the archetypal. Archetypal medicine, it's good for your mind. With the nature medicine, good for your physical. Okay, so here she talks about fours, number 4. I mentioned it being foundations, but here's another good idea with the fours. Anytime you see 4 come up on your clock, or like, think about that moment and what you're doing in that moment, because it might be asking you to think about one of these things. 4s also represent borders, so boundaries. What are your boundaries? I think a couple streams ago I was talking about how when you are trying to manifest your goals, your dreams, there's also going to be things that come along the way that are there to see if it's part of what you want as well. But you want to have some boundaries in terms of what you don't want in your world. That's kind of why we go through these contrast engines, is because, you know, we may go through an experience and be like, what was that for? I'm not sure. I'm sure I was learning something, but what was it? And oftentimes it can be the contrast engine that pushes you more toward the thing that you want, right? And so you can create those limits. You can create that structure of what you do want, what you don't want. And obviously you're still going to be flowing in between both. But you can have a say on what you don't want as well. So the 4 cards feature herbs used as border or hedgerow plants. All right, so they cover the borders of your garden, right? They are shaped and managed to keep what is wanted inside the space and what is not wanted outside the space. These plants introduce the herb crafter to thresholds and portals. Portals. That's kind of like how you can think about every time you tap into your sanctuary feelings, you know, your goals and what you want to create in the world, what you're here to do. You open a portal when you use your creativity, use your fire energy. When you talk about it, when you create with it, it's opening a portal that you're kind of receiving the good feelings from. I would say what is going to be your future self, experiencing what it is that brings you the most joy. Guarding the ecosystem, they ensure that what grows inside the border thrives. They are gateways to a deeper connection to the plants. In the second mini-drama, 456, the herb crafter begins to cultivate community. This takes her out of her own experiences to build a bigger world. That's what we're doing here on these lives. Building a community, coming together in circle, sharing sacred space. I like that. That's cool. After the abundance of the 3s, the herbs of the 4s teach her about the edges and boundaries. She becomes aware of external factors that affect her journey and thus learns how to create sacred space. Discernment, intention, and mutuality become important as she seeks to protect the ancient ways. The Fours ask the herb crafter to create a threshold and walk through it. Okay, so Four of Fire, Elder. I'll try and say the name, the original name for it. Sambucus nigra. Okay. Make a little magic, stir up a special ceremony. Holy helpers guide you and lend you power. Honor the beings who guard the liminal places. Oh, that's interesting. So yesterday, our niece Manny, she's quite young, but she's very intelligent, and she asked me for an animal reading yesterday. So I let her shuffle the cards. I have the deck Archangel Animal by Diana Cooper. And she got the snake as her spirit animal for that day. And I was really thinking about snake medicine, and because it comes with the elemental kingdom, because it's an archangel deck, it usually comes with archangels that are also helping in the spiritual side of things to make sure everything goes over well on the physical. The elemental kingdom, though, is guarding and protecting the liminal spaces, the underworld spaces, as far as I'm aware. And I just find it fascinating that even in, like the darkest corners, you would think, of existence, a bit like how we got Kali the other day, there's always a guardian protector or protectress. And I just think that's fascinating, because there's just nowhere you can go that's too far away from. I mean, it can feel like you can go places that are far away from love, but there's always helpers to guide you and to lend you power. I guess it's that whole thing of asking for it, receiving it. Not only asking for it, but receiving it, All right. Little description to go with the card. Hello, Marco. So I'll read you what it says about this one. A wand. I don't see the wand. Maybe it's the little twig here, yeah. Ooh, we could create a wand. That's a good idea. A wand is being crafted on a table brimming with activity. Potions, plants, and yarn are scattered about. Berries spill out of a wooden bowl. A fire glows inside a wood stove. And an embroidered pillow of Guadalupe rests on a rocking chair draped in silk scarves. The room is cozy and full of light. Create a safe space to make a little magic. I kind of feel like that's for you there, Jaco, asking about if God is real. That's not necessarily something that people can answer or will be able to give you the answer that you will feel satisfied with. But instead, if you create a safe space and make a little magic for yourself, like just something simple, like whatever you love to do, just allow yourself to do that for just 10 minutes. And that question kind of melts away a little bit in the back. I don't know. It's an experiential thing. for me anyway. And it's just something that anyone could spend years answering that question, but what, like it does, it's whatever you feel and believe. So Elder provides protection from stormy weather to small creatures and tender plants. It is a striking hedgerow plant steeped in mystical lore. Invoke the aid of holy helpers, like the crone who lives within the elder tree, guarding the portal between the land of the living and the realm of the dead. She appears in the frothy white blossoms of summer and the dark berries of fall. Practice magical arts and move between the worlds. Honor the old ones. Elderberry syrup is a sweet remedy that heals a body weakened by invaders. Build a foundation that will sustain your work so you can create the life you desire. Oftentimes that foundation is you. You're your foundation. Like, if you are able to be stable in who and what you are, you create a foundation for all of your desires, your dreams, your goals, your thoughts, your emotions to always bounce off of and be steered in the right direction still. Know thyself is kind of what I'm pointing to here when it comes to a foundation, because I know every time we hear this word, we think, well, what outside of me do I need to build? What outside of me do I need to do? What outside of me do I need to conversate with? All of that. And I mean, I was asking just there, like, what's foundation though? Like, is it your ancestral roots? Is it your karma? Is it any of these things? And I think really you're beyond any of that when you're in that mode of knowing, mode of feeling, mode of experiencing, and just flowing with what is. To put it simply. Build a foundation that will sustain your work so you can create the life you desire. So once you be that foundation, you'll know what actions to take. Hello, butterfly. Sure, John. So I'm going to read you the crafting items in just a second. Hello to you in Wales, Mena. Welcome. God is negative entropy, which is the integration of matter into larger and stable wholes. Well, there you go. For whatever reason, that doesn't make sense to me, but it might make sense to you and many other people. That's the thing about language, is it's like we're speaking a frequency, and I can pick up on kind of what you're trying to say, but at the same time, like, I'm someone that has to ask so many questions. Like, if someone's explaining something to me, it's like I have all of these questions that have to be answered, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, but it's like I want to get to a space where it makes sense in my vibration. In fact, yeah, I don't know. It's, I I used to ask questions all the time as a kid, and I remember it used to really annoy my parents. Well, like during a film or whatever, like if yeah, I'd ask a lot of questions. But it's good. I think communication. There's a type of satisfaction you can get from communicating with people and asking questions and finding out more information that you can't get just by introspecting on it yourself. You kind of need that external conversation to get it in a certain way, and it's always different to how you perceive it. Hello, Ali. It is funny. Yeah, it is. And that's what I mean. Language is, I think sometimes when something is true, it either sparks more questions or it just has to be digested. So it's one of those two. Yeah, that's the whole point, right? Finding a way to appreciate everything and everyone, because everyone has a piece of the puzzle. Everyone has something to teach you, to show you, if you're willing to accept that whatever's being shown to you is a mirror of some kind. It's mirroring either your experience or it's mirroring their experience, and usually it's a combination of the two. And yeah. So finally, with the 4 of fire, crafting with the 4. Hang elder buffs above the door to your creative space to honor the threshold. Interesting. It's interesting how little things bring a sense of the magnificent to the moment that you can kind of place there for yourself. It's like, how do you start a good conversation with yourself and with life everywhere you go? Noticing the colors, having conversations with the animals, with the elements. Those are a couple of mine. You might have some different ones. Yeah, it's divinity, the quantum realm, spirituality, all of that kind of conversation. It's still personal to you and what you've experienced, because even though we all are made of the same material, as that quote pointed out, we all are here to kind of also see our differences as well, and still find a way back to truth, whatever that is for us. And whatever it truly is for you is also for the collective. Like, if you can land on that truth that you are, it's automatically part of the whole. It's not separate. Alright, second one is to craft a wand of power. The creative process of making magical tools is transformative. yeah, even just like the attention we put into making things, doing things. That's where the magic is, right? I was saying just yesterday, like, when you visit a person's property, there's something about the energetics where if, for example, the pool, like they have a big pool, for example, but if they never use that pool, if humans or even animals, but mainly humans with chlorinated pools, right? Because we were talking about swimming in natural pools and how at first the idea was a bit like, what about all the weird critters in there though? But the other side of it is, no, it's actually full of life, you know. That would be interesting because usually we only ever swim in the sea or in chlorinated pools. But the concept of filling just the simplest of things with energy of love, joy, peace, you know, whatever it is, makes a big difference in how others pick up on that energy. So the example of the pool is that if this person has $1 million estate, right? But they never really use the garden or they never really use the pool. When you go there, you might pick up on the fact that it seems empty. There isn't energy there's physical things everywhere you go on that property, but there isn't the energy of life there. And so that's what we can think about when we're passing down a legacy to, you know, our future generations, like passing on a piece of land that's been truly loved and lived on. Like, that can be tapped into energetically to receive and download information that the person needs at that time. But like I say, if it's kind of not really lived in, not really experienced very often, maybe there's less of that energy that kind of brings it to life, and it's like empty space. So how that works is interesting. I don't know what you think about that. Okay, and the final one for collective reading is to make elderberry elixir. I like that word. Elixir. Offer it to your ancestors during a dark moon and listen for guidance. Right, so making offerings. If you make offerings before receiving something, so there's a there's a relationship there now, because you don't just take, you give first. You know, I picked some mint to put in my water today, and I can't pick anything without at least saying thank you, or you know, I'll just kind of be in a zone of stating affirmations, or when I pick the leaves, you know, love, joy, peace, wisdom, and I'm in a bit more of a real life conversation with the ecosystem. And it sets the way, it sets the road for anyone who comes into this garden. When they see that mint plant, they might want to do the same, because, I don't know, maybe it's the morphogenetic fields. Like, when you've picked from that tree or that plant, it kind of sets in the signature of that relationship being of that relationship continuing with the next person that comes along. And you see it, I see it with children, they're so quick to pick up on that stuff. So whatever way you find, whether it's an offering, of good words, of good energy, whether it's a physical offering, of soil for a tree. As a friend suggested to me the other day, whatever you can offer first, the more you'll receive. So, what are we, to answer that question, where is humanity headed? I think if we are the way keepers, the way showers of staying in touch with the ecosystem, with the land, then we'll be just fine. If we disconnect ourselves from nature, we don't feel anything there. As a collective, it's okay if just a couple people don't, there's more than a couple, resonate with nature. They'll find ways to connect with human beings. They'll find ways to connect through tech. They'll make up for it somewhere, because it's in our blueprint to want to connect with love. Every human wants love. So wherever they get it, I don't think there's anything more pure than the vibration of nature, though. And your nature, by the way. But we grow up with what we grow up with. And it's a lot of intensity. He's ecstatic in water. Yeah, there's something about water, isn't there, when you go swimming in there? It brings out the imagination. So many people don't understand their pools. It could be the chlorine. It could be that it's you know how it's mentioning the natural side of a pool, like that. It's fun. You swim with the fish, right? Maybe it's just that. Maybe people are longing to swim in the sea, actually, Okay, Mike. Oh, well, the only thing that came to mind in FOMAT was, do you ever use those images? They're like peripheral images where you stare at an image of something for long enough and you start to see it elsewhere. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. I didn't see the flower of life when I would use them, but it's apparently meant to help you to focus in the middle here and kind of open that space. What you could do is, instead of like necessarily trying to look for the flower of life and everything, because I've only seen it with psychedelics, I think, but I see it when I close my eyes. So instead of necessarily trying to see it, coming in to your the back of your head here, your pituitary, which is connected to your vagus nerve, and your vagus nerve is what governs your relaxation and your awareness of everything around you. And so coming in to this space, instead of kind of being out here, because you won't see anything from out here. Like if you're always walking around the world, going about your everyday world, and being kind of out here, you see a tunnel view. Whereas if you come in and you kind of take a seat in your pituitary, it's kind of where your ear is here, it kind of goes up and down. So you think about it like coming in through here. There's a space in the middle of, you can think about it coming into the back of your head even. You kind of just sit back a little bit, you take a seat back, become aware of your how you're feeling all throughout your body. It's kind of the balancer of your two sides. And from there, you can start to sense more of the flower of life around you. More of the energy that's connected to all of you, to all of it. And start there. A lot of people, they're visceral in their experiences, they feel it in their body before they see it. So, hopefully that was helpful. Hi Amanda, Somerset. Oh, I haven't seen you in a long time. Little red squirrel, you're my favorite. They're super loud too. They're tiny, they're like this big, they're slightly bigger than chipmunks. But they're feisty. Hi Justin, how you doing? Truth, should be. Yeah, it does, for sure. I'd say yes. All right. When you're really out there, it is endless. Beautiful, but dangerous, yes. Yeah, some people are afraid of that endlessness. I once went into that endlessness just naively, free-willed, and just wasn't worried about anything. And all of a sudden I got a big sting from a I'm telling you a horror story now, sorry. From a jellyfish. Luckily it was a mild one. But I never went swimming in there again. That was in Spain. Here in Canada we have mainly lakes, so I don't worry about jellyfish. Hi Cat's Muse. Magic eye drawings. Is that what that is? Live with them? They come by. Yeah. We get quite a lot of them because we put out peanuts and sunflower seeds, so they like that. They're the best. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna go back to the beach again. We went there the other day. And it's the first time I've swam in the ocean since this year. Ocean in the lake. It's so big though, it's almost like an ocean, but it's less waves. So that was nice. It was a tad bit cold because we didn't get there until 8 o'clock at night. But it was a beautiful sunset, and yeah, again, you know, bringing out that imagination that children have it reignites that imagination in me. I find when children I think children are actually teaching adults when they're going into their playful modes. They're teaching adults how to bring back the imagination again. So we definitely would do well to listen to children more and to let them be and do a bit more. Obviously, not something that's dangerous, but how often were we controlled as children to stop doing something or to do what our parents wanted us to do when, I don't know. So on Canada Day, we actually did end up going out, and because there was a bit of a celebration in Unionville, one of my favorite places, and it was awesome. There was an old lady. She was sat in a group of rainbow chairs. She was drumming, and it set the tone for my whole experience in Unionville that day. I was just thinking about her the whole way, just sending gratitude for the fact that she was there by herself, drumming in the middle of a busy, well, it wasn't super busy where she was at. She was in a park, but it's really busy just further down the road. Anyway, the point is, I came back to that space looking for her, and she'd gone. But then a mother and her child came, and she's a really good mum. She really, and the dad too. He came over as well, and I was just kind of observing a little bit. I wasn't interacting too much. I was just listening, and she let him do what he wanted to do for the most part. Like, he wanted to take off his shoes and walk on the grass, and she's like, well, you're going to get him dirty, and she's telling him maybe not to do that, but she didn't stop him from doing that. And I just had this moment where he looked in my eyes and I looked in his, and we both smiled, and it was just like a little moment of, I don't even know what to call it, but it was gives me hope, gives me joy, knowing that we have good parents out there. We have good children out there that are going to be the leaders in the future. So, yeah. Hello to you in Ecuador. Hi, Energy and Light. Nice to see you, my dear. Okay, let me read this. Risk, fear, exploration is already important to the human experience. Indeed. Oh, really, yeah. I think twice. Totally depends where your mind is at in terms of whether fear is a sense of the truth. You know how you can worry about something and it's like 1% chance of happening? That can go on overdrive if we're in a flight or fight response, The other side of it is that we are picking up on a real thing, a real fear, but we maybe go overboard with it a little bit. I don't know, maybe sometimes it's needed. It depends on the situation, because you don't want to get yourself in danger. Yeah, there really are some things you can't take back. Nature is quite fragile as well. And it's also quite fierce as well. So it depends what you're dealing with. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. False expectation, appearing real, deception. Yeah, okay, well, I'd say most of our programming is based on, like, that we've grown up with. It's based on a lot of lack of abundance mentality, lack of safety mentality. And so when we come to rewire our mind to bring about abundance, to bring about joy, it's like almost like fighting against the tide, but you have help. You do, because there's a big part of yourself that wants you to break free, that wants you to live in alignment with the moment and not be so anxious all the time, for example. Hi, Jackie. Interesting, we have 5 coins at the bottom here. Asking for help when we need it. And sometimes that help we're asking not just other people, because that obviously community can help you to float and breeze about, but you're asking for help from yourself in order to get into a better feeling, thought, or experience as well. And how often can we do that for ourselves? At the beginning there, I was talking about how there's no restrictions to you receiving anything you want. There's no restriction. You don't have to be this or that. You don't have to achieve anything. There's just a type of being that you have to be. And you practice that over and over, again and again, until it's just stuck with you. You can't get out of it. It's just you receive all that you're meant for. There's no restrictions, no limitations that your mind is putting on you, because so many words to describe it, but I can feel it. I can feel what I'm getting to inside, and it's peaceful. Acceptance, allowance of what is. Hello to you in Germany, Monique. Welcome. Yeah, fear has a message. It tells you what's on the other side of the thing you want. If you have a fear about something, say it's your main fear, it is showing you what you want that's on the opposite side of that. If you fear meeting people for the first time, or and you may have good valid reasons for that, or you fear being just whatever it is, you can flip it and you can be like, oh, actually the reason I'm fearing this thing, if I know that there's nothing really to fear, because some things, death, you probably fear that, you just want to stay alive, but if you're fearing that thing, you can just go in there and kind of, this is because on the other side of what I actually want with this fear is something that will help me to feel amazing. I want connection with people. I want these things. I can't let fear get in the way. So I guess it's a game of how you talk to yourself. Minimalism. I'm already quite minimalistic, but I don't know. I've never, the only time I really adhere to minimalism, the only time I adhere to minimalism is when I have a small space. Otherwise, I don't feel, I'm not on the opposite spectrum where I have too many things, so it's never really been a big draw for me. Yeah, I actually have to force myself sometimes to buy things. Because it's like, come on, you gotta have some things, you gotta have some nice things. Yeah, probably wasn't what you were looking for, but it's kind of the truth, so. Fear can't exist without time. I've seen, I didn't understand it. I seen a sign outside of a church the other day, and sometimes they have some good signs. This one, it said, love is a 4-letter word that means time. What? What does that mean? So maybe you can all explain that to me. I'm not too sure. Yes. Not have the room to be minimalist. That's true, yeah. I mean, kind of. Yeah, it's just never really attracted me, to be honest. All right. I don't feel like we need any other readings for the collective right now, but I am willing to do some readings for you personally if you want to donate. Donate whatever you can, you know. I'm not going to put a limit on it for you, but I am trying to save up for a purple bed, and those are quite expensive, but it will last me all my life. So as I was saying at the beginning, just having simple things just little goals, they make me happy. So my goal is to buy a purple bed. If you've never heard of it, you can look it up. We tried one in the store the other day, and it's very comfortable. Doesn't retain heat in the same way that some beds do. It's almost $4,000 though, so it's an investment. But yeah, your funds will go towards that if you want to know. Although I am also hoping to get some more sound healing instruments, but for now I feel like that can wait. Because better sleep equals better life, and right now, yeah, we could do with a better mattress for sure. So just putting that out there. Hi, Bun. Nice to see you. How's motherdom treating you? Love to know. So we are going to go until so usually I stream for 2 hours and 22 minutes. Today I was late, so I'm probably going to go until, let's say, I'll say 4:45. So it's 5 to 4 right now. So We'll be here for just under an hour. Welcome, Amanda. Starseed readings? I can. I have my Starseed decks. So, yes, is the answer. Dreams create reality. I'm kind of scared about what I dream now. Here's a concept that I used before, but I kind of like it. Thanks for that coffee. Appreciate it. Would you like a reading? Let me know. There's a certain amount of things that we can change and choose for our life. And that goes back to what I was saying in the beginning about some of this programming we can be aware of, some of this unconscious thoughts, feelings that we have, we can be aware of, and we can change and we can choose something different in the moment. The other side is that the sacred geometric grids that keep this place running already have a blueprint, and you're kind of just swimming in between it. And so you don't have to have everything figured out. Sometimes you can just let life be you. Half of the time you want to be aware, and you want to be just aware of you and what you're projecting in the world, aware of your unconscious mind when it's coming up. The other half of the time, you don't have to do that. You just be life. And it's my best advice for that. You know, you don't have to do it all kind of feeling. Wow, almost 2. Amazing. My next question, I don't know if I should ask it, but are you going to have another one? I don't know, I always feel like it's probably a touchy question, but it just, yeah, I don't know. I love seeing people have babies. It's great. But not everyone wants that, so I respect that too. Two. Divine purpose is what it speaks to me about. I don't know what it speaks to you about. Energy and light. Kind of reading do I do? So usually I do tarot on a Tuesday. I give you the archetypal medicine, which is the original Weight Rider deck. And then I give you the nature medicine, which is the Herb Crafters tarot, because I don't know, those two go together in my eyes. And on Thursdays I do oracle readings, which, sorry, I hit the mic there. I have Starseed deck, Angel deck, Work Your Light deck, Archangel Animal deck, Divine Feminine, Flower deck, Law of Attraction, Sacred Geometry, Gods and Titans, Goddesses and Sirens. So that's what we do on Oracle Thursday. It's really cool. This bag that I have here, and the light is showing up as this fuchsia color. I don't know if you won't see it in the thing, but the sun shining on it is this bright pink color. It's beautiful. Awesome. If you draw sacred geometry by hand, I've tried it. I wouldn't recommend. using some rulers and some a compass goes a long way. I don't know. Yes, I do, Amanda. So as long as you're okay with getting your reading, what I can do, if you want something more in depth and personal, I can do it behind the scenes for you. This is more of a casual kind of thing, but I'm, you know, not going to be too casual about it. I'm going to be bringing through whatever comes through. So, awesome. All right, Bun, you're up. I seem to remember you were designing your own tarot deck. That was a while ago, though, I think. So would you like a tarot card? Vida, thank you so much. I like the cute little cat. Looks like Abel. All right. Tarot cards are a way of mapping consciousness. You can look at the way that it's structured, because you go from major to minor arcana, and the major cards are 22 in number, and you go from the Fool, which to me represents the child, and you end with the World card, which represents being all that you are, simultaneously expressing that in the world with all that it is. And it's kind of what you would say is the goal of enlightenment, is the World card. So you're going from birth to death is in there, but it's in the middle. Because it's death of, there's many times that you die before trying to figure out where that sound is coming from. Kind of like birds. Anyway, let's get to the reading. Calling in the light here and now. This reading is for Bun, please, by Bun. And we're looking for a general message for the day, for the week. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of swords. I've started doing reversed recently, and I don't know, it just feels right. So a lot of mental activity going on. May even be given either moments during the day where it's taken up a lot of your energy, or at night, maybe sometimes feeling caught up in a nightmare, you know. the depiction with this deck is that it's related to love of some kind. What's the main thing we all want? It's love, right? So it is obviously going to be something that can also cause a lot of turmoil when we don't get the love that we're necessarily seeking. So the way that I would flip this on its head, because it's talking about it's a lot of thoughts. It's being caught up in questioning, what should you do? The way that you'd flip this on its head, because it's an intense card, it's heavy, it's a lot of mental activity. It's a bit like what we've been speaking about here today, which is to look at fear or anything that you're dealing with mentally, or relationship-wise, to look at it from the space of something on the other side of this that I'm really trying to get to. What could that be? And how can I open myself more to allow for that? Whatever may be causing the pain of some kind, there's a nugget, a golden nugget in there that's can be flipped, that can be pointing you towards something that you do really want, that is meant for you. And really all it is a case of just a quick flip of the switch in your mind. You just kind of just get in the zone, you just kind of flip in the switch, and it's just all it took is a word or a conversation or an idea or something. It's just that flip of the switch. But if we've built up similar energy patterns, habitual patterns, it takes practice every day to change it, because we built up a bit of momentum on the opposite side, right? So what we can do now is build up momentum in terms of acceptance, allowance, expansion toward, here's fear in one hand, here's pain in one hand, but I'm also walking with joy and with abundance in this hand. You don't necessarily have to get away from the struggle, the pain. You just, you hold it in your other hand and you be it. And you know that you can tap into that beingness at any time. Always, because we're living in duality. There's always going to be good and bad. But you can tap into the quantum, the space where it kind of just melds into one, and there isn't that judgment there anymore. So, I'll give you the herb crafter. Wow, Vida, thank you so much. I'm going to get to you in just a moment. I'm just going to finish this reading. Thank you. Appreciate that. So the herb crafter will give you so to go along with the mental archetype for you to understand today. The swords represents the mental activity. It could be that we're going through it's not always necessarily to do with you and your life. Sometimes it's to do with the cycles of the season as well. So let me take a look straight in the book for you. All right. 9 is also completion of cycles. So you're about to break through something start again. We start again every day, actually. Every time we wake up, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, so to speak. But 9s are also fulfillment. So let's take a look at 9 of air. Pomegranate. Do you like pomegranate? It's a bit of a difficult one to make, actually. So it says, no love, no grief. Claim your underworld crown. You are the sky, everything else is the weather. The branches of a tall pomegranate tree sag with the ripe, heavy fruit. Beyond the tree, a pathway leads to a desert mountain. The sun disappears, then reappears beneath unpredictable storm clouds. On a table inside, a large pomegranate is split open with a bowline. Red juice drips. Seeds scatter to the floor. Let go of what you cannot control. Pomegranate is the tree that leads to Demeter's agonizing loss in the Greek myth. Her daughter, Persephone, consumes the seed that seals her fate as queen of the underworld. As a hike through the desert will prove, pain is one path to wisdom. When heartache enters your life, do not run away. And the prophet Khalil Gibran says, the deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. I love that. The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Do not hurry your grief. Pomegranate fruit must be harvested at just the right time. It will not ripen off the tree. You will live through shattering experiences and still stand proud. When you are ready, quench the thirst of guilt, regret, and worry. Invite in forgiveness. So crafting with the 9 of air. Write your grief with a feather in pomegranate juice. Tear open a pomegranate, enjoy the seeds, claim your underworld crown. Drink pomegranate juice to calm the spirit and heal the heart when it is overcome by emotion. Beautiful. There's wisdom at the other end of pain, at the other side of pain. That's why with the swords, the element of swords, they represent a lot of turmoil, but it's because the ultimate ace of swords is wisdom. So, hope that was helpful for you. All right. Well, I guess Vida. Here we go. Any message you need to hear? Oh, great. John said, fear and abundance is really right on point. Awesome. Thank you, Bun. So, it's been a while since I did these readings live. Just let the energy sink in for a second. You there, Vida? Are you ready? Four 14 p.m. So let's go. This reading is for Vida. Any message I need to hear in this moment? I'm feeling like it's this card. All right. It's either the top card or the bottom card. All right, let's take a look. 5 of Wands. So, you know what happens when we do get to, when we delve too deeply into duality consciousness and not balancing it with the fact that we're connected and that what others can have and have is also what you can have. We get into a little bit of competition, and that's not a bad thing. If we feel in competition with other people, sometimes we're doing it because we want to have fun. Sometimes we're doing it because it's play, and that's what they're doing. They're playing with each other with the sticks. They're play fighting. It represents that space that we all go to from time to time in order to see where we're at in the world in terms of the collective and our consciousness. Where do we rank? Where are we based? Where do we stand? All right? And that's perfectly good and fine and is part of the play that we have here on this planet. It's how we have fun. We have competition. We have who's the winner, who's the loser, right? But some of us have been through trauma surrounding that. And so we have to find ways to enjoy what we're doing, whether we're trying to win or just succeed, and not worry at all about failing, because the other side of competition is that if you're so focused on winning, your whole life can drop and fall apart when you don't win. Everyone knows that sore loser, right? So the thing is about the sore losers is that sometimes it works in their favor because they want to win all the time. And they do win some of the time. And then the other side of it is that because the other people around them aren't as worried about winning, they get more into the flow of life, because they're more in the creation of life, they're more in the now moment, whereas the other person who's focused on winning is more in the mind. So it's a balance. They're not hitting each other, they're not attacking each other, they're balancing this energy of competition. They're using it as motivation to move and keep moving, but they're also not getting too caught up in, and this is where you come in. So are you, you have to kind of see if you're putting people on a pedestal and saying, I'm not going to be good enough until I reach that, because that is what I want. And that's kind of like giving yourself competition, but it's almost impossible to reach because you're putting yourself up against someone else. And even though we have a big culture of doing that, I feel like there's another way to live life. Unless you're competing in sports, unless you're competing for something actually because you want to win, there's another way to live life, and it's to be proud and to be grateful for everyone's accomplishments, because then when yours come along, you feel good, you feel great. So it's either bringing in more of that playfulness when it comes to competition, or it's letting it go. Because if you do have a little bit of trauma there, where it really bothers you when people are always in competition for something, balance it out, and just say to yourself, the only thing I really care about is how well I'm accomplishing this task here, what I'm doing. You know, the only person you're really in competition with is yourself. Because you're the one that can make all of your dreams come true. You're the one that will make all of your dreams come true. Life will help you. Life will show you synchronicities, serendipities that will help you get there. You're the one that steers the ship. And I'd say, you know, healthy competition. I personally am not, it depends where you're at, because some people thrive on competition and games, and I thrive more on games where it's loose. Like, who wins and who loses is more loose. It's more about luck, it's more about skill, it's more about the journey than the destination. It's more about the taking part than winning anything, because sometimes if we're so wanting to succeed, we're so afraid of failing. And if we're more afraid of failing than we are of focused on succeeding, it's tough to get there, because you're in contracted energy now. So you're afraid of losing, even to yourself. But even if you just go about and live this life and you don't accomplish all of the things on your bucket list, that's fine. You were here, you lived. You came here and you lived. And that's all anyone can ask of you. So I'll find the nature medicine. Okay, am I gonna have to get in here? So what's going on? Never go to the light. No, I don't agree with that, actually. I've heard that before, but I disagree, because I think it's all part of it. It really is. So. You're welcome. I'll find the nature medicine for you. See if there's something physical you can do. But again, fire is transmutation, change energy, connecting with spirit energy. All right, black cohosh is 5 of fire. Let's take a look. All right, so it says anger is sacred. Yeah. Burn through the slumber of helplessness and complacency. Resist. It says woman's rage is a force that will change the world. A lush land of black cohosh grows against a bright red wall. White flowers burst from a deep crown, looking like sparklers. The seeds shake like a rattlesnake before it strikes. Flies, bees, and other insects are drawn to the plant's strong scent. The earth below is teeming with life. The healthy the healthy shallow roots jut out below the surface of the soil. Honor the fire that rises up within. Neither deny your anger, nor let it rule you. Discern whether your rage is righteous or if it is rooted in fear and insecurity. Though the survival of black cohosh is threatened by loss of habitat, it remains an important medicinal. The tincture supports the female reproductive system, alleviating pain and releasing stuck fluids from the body. Black cohosh teaches us to harness the power of our own creative source. As the tall flower bends easily in the wind, cultivate a strong, flexible backbone. The folk name snake root signifies transformation. Rattle like a snake and shed your skin. Alright, so how to craft with the 5 of fire. This is for you. Channel anger into activism. Support United Plant Savers' efforts to preserve this plant. Use black cohosh tincture to harness the power of your changing energy shifts. Craft a rattle of power with black cohosh seeds. All right. So, yeah, that's another side of this card, is they're relieving some of their tension through competition. So that's why it can be healthy sometimes to release your anger through seeing change happen by putting your hands into something, by being a part of some kind of movement. It can channel some of that anger that you may feel about your life or the world, and swap it, change it, transform it into feeling like you've made a difference. So, yeah, anger can give you, I would say it can give you confidence to face certain things, and it can be channeled well. But you don't let it consume you, right? You let it be dispersed and transformed through your breath, through taking an action, whatever it is. Awesome, great to hear. Yeah. All right, so just gonna let that energy settle, and I actually just want to find the 9 of air, because I didn't show that image, and it would be nice to have the visual. Here we go. Here's the pomegranate. So yeah, on one side, we have mental activity that we can nourish in ourselves, being aware of our thoughts. The other side, we have creative energy that we can nurture through movement, through connection with creativity or whatever we find to be the most true about life. So, it's probably all the readings for today. Otherwise it can get too much information. But thank you so much for being brave, getting a reading done. Yeah, hope it serves you well. Hope that it reveals itself to you over the coming days, and that you find a way to work with the nature or the archetypal medicine that goes with it. There's a little app that it doesn't work 100% of the time, but in order to try and get a little bit more familiar with the plants that are around in nature, it's called Plant Snap, and you can take a picture of a plant and it can tell you what the plant is. And yeah, get to know herbalism a little bit more. And when we get to know the basic blueprint, the archetypes that are governed by life here, that have been paved by our ancestors, that have been walked before, we can follow those trajectories, we can follow those pathways, or we can build new ones. But either way, this collective and the collective will have very similar, will go through very similar archetypes, and that's why the tarot for me is really powerful, because it cuts out some of the drama and the confusion, and it takes us straight toward the thing that is repeated very often throughout your journey, throughout other people's journey. It's an archetype for a reason. It's a key through a doorway that has been walked many times before, but you might just be on a different branch. So, hi Phil. There's energy, I like that. Let's just bask in that. I'm going to finish with some singing bowl, I think. So, can this reach? I'm going to take it off. Still have this heart chakra singing bowl. So I'm trying to use it as often as I can. So, with this, coming into the heart space, with the sound, with the breath, with the color green, or pink, or red, whatever brings you to your heart. Just focus in on that center. Just focusing on that bridge between the physical and the spiritual you. blowing that love out. You know, with every in-breath, we can set an intention. With every out-breath, we can release it into the world. So, breathing in that love. Sending out that love. So the theme of today, I'm going to leave you with, as we talked about at the beginning, is to remember that there is no restrictions on receiving what you're meant for. There's nothing restricting you, so don't restrict yourselves. Open your heart to the abundance that is yours. That's all around you, as often as you can, and keep reminding yourself that there's no restrictions. Because it's a mental game. It's a physical game, a spiritual game, energetic game that you're playing with yourself and with the world. Beautiful. Thank you all so much for being here. It feels like holding sacred space with community, and there's nothing more that I'm feeling called to do at the moment, and you all give me purpose, and I thank you for that. I give me purpose, but you also give me purpose, and I thank you. Thank you, nature. Thank you, elementals. Thank you, spirit. Thank you all. Okay, guys. I will see you on Thursday for oracle readings. And I just want to say a big thank you to the donators today. You're so very appreciated. And everyone that commented, everyone that's been spending time here today, you're so very appreciated. Okay, guys, take care. See you on Thursday, same time, 2 p.m. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Justin. Thank you.